Brixton Local Craft Connections banner. The Brixton Local Heroes Craft Connections banner was created during the COVID-19 lockdowns by the Brixton Library Craft Group. Unveiled on September the 2nd, 2021, the banner, which consists of 17 individual textile pieces, celebrates local people nominated by the community, and the Local Heroes logo was featured as part of the Lambeth Heritage Festival 2021. Anik Alay and myself, Marilyn Rogers, used to run and volunteer for the Friends of Brixton Library, a craftwork group, sewing, knitting and other crafts. And we worked for many years until 2020 and were able to get grants for various projects. Anik and I had one for Tai Chi and also the crafts group. We decided to make a banner. At the point in time, from 2012, libraries were under threat, so making a Friends banner was quite a good way of supporting the library and the campaign of keeping libraries open and free. The GLA had a fund called the Cultural Seeds, and I was able to get a grant to make the banner, which paid for tutors to come in and run the class for us. Here is some information on the local heroes selected and reflections and sentiments shared by the crafters on the Brixton local heroes who are featured in the individual textile pieces, and how they created the piece and their feelings about participating in the project and the hero they selected.
Terry Bullen, 1939 to 2016. Founder of Brixton Art Gallery, BAG Artist Collective. Member of Women's Work and Textile Artist. Also educator, arts officer and curator. Terry Bullen curated the Zamani Patchwork of Our Lives exhibition, bringing Zamani Soweto sisters to Brixton in 1986. Her work is in Brixton's St. Matthew's Church and many private collections. In 2014, she produced Women, Art and Politics for Brixton Calling, reactivating the archive at 198 Contemporary Arts and Learning. In her later years, Terry was a community leader and a green champion for the Mayats Fields area. Crafter Marian Lacan says, I made the textile piece about Terry Bullen using fabric pens, paint, and applique. I wanted to use bright colors because I learned that Terry had been a textile artist and made a banner called Women Change the World and appliqued peppers to show her green champion status. Peter Mansfield, 1933 to 2017. Peter Mansfield was born in Lambeth, London on the 9th of October 1933 to Sidney George, a gasfitter, and Rose Lillian Mansfield. Mansfield is the youngest of three brothers. He grew up in Camberwell. During World War II, when he was 13, he was evacuated from London. He received the Nobel Prize in 2003. His obituary states his birthplace as a road now in Camberwell, Southwark, but originally in 1933 in the borough of Lambeth. Professor Sir Peter Mansfield died at the age of 83. The Sir Peter Mansfield Imaging Centre at the University of Nottingham was named in honour of his pioneering work to change the face of modern medical science. Crafter Marilyn Rogers says, I chose Peter Mansfield as my local hero because I had to use MRI scanners several times in my life, and so wanted to make this piece in gratitude to a man who created such a medical necessity for better diagnosis of different complaints. The square was made with different stitching techniques and padded to shape. By adding a man's handkerchief and some shoelaces, I wanted to suggest that ordinary beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes if you are allowed to develop your skills and talents. Nellie Roberts, 1872 to 1959. Nellie Roberts was the first Royal Horticultural Society orchid artist, starting in 1897 at the age of 24 and retiring at the age of 81 in 1953. She painted over 4,000 orchids for the RHS at 72, now 92 Loughborough Road, SW9, in the flat above a shop. Crafter Marlin Brown says, I made the piece about Nellie Roberts because I was intrigued by this woman who spent most of her life painting orchids for the RHS. I also have seen an exhibition of her work at Loughborough Road. I used several different kinds of stitching and fabric pens, including satin stitch and running stitch. The image shows Nellie Roberts with a few orchids, using different stitches, and gives an example of her orchid painting. I used applique to indicate my own crafting and making skills. Cherry Gross, 1948 to 2011. Dorothy Cherry Gross brought up her children in Normandy Road, Brixton. A Lambeth blue plaque is placed on the family home. In 1985, she was shot by police by mistake. This became a catalyst for the uprising. Her son, Lee Lawrence, formed a charity to make her legacy a positive one. Helping people who are mobility impaired, the Cherry Tree Foundation, based at We Are 336 Brixton Road, is a charity which arranges trips for people with disabilities, enabling them to share in outings and events. With the support of Lambeth Council and the Met Police, the Cherry Gross Pavilion, a memorial designed by architect Sir David Ajayi, was erected in Windrush Square in 2021. Crafter Tawe Balogan says, I made the Cherry Gross textile piece because she was talented. I used several different kinds of stitching and fabric pens. The logo is appliqued to indicate the Cherry Tree Trust, which was created in her honor. Sam King, born in Jamaica, lived in Lambeth and Southwark. Profession, community worker, politician. Volunteering, West Indian Gazette, community organizations. Legacy, West Indian Gazette, Windrush Foundation, Notting Hill Carnival, and all his work as Mayor of Southwark. Sam King arrived in the UK on the Empire Windrush in 1948. A firm believer in the importance of that period, he later set up the Windrush Foundation together with Arthur Torrington, stating that the MV Windrush was no different from the Mayflower, which sailed to America in 1620. Born in 1926 in Jamaica, Sam King volunteered for the Royal Air Force as an engineer in 1944, and upon returning to Britain, settled in Southwark, where he found work as a postman. He became an active campaigner in the community, and finally, the first black mayor of Southwark. Tributes have been paid to Mr. King, with many calling him a pioneer in British politics who helped break down barriers for black people in politics. Local heroes also remember Sam King as circulation manager of the Brixton-based West Indian Gazette. The publication was running into financial difficulties until Sam's arrival in the mid-1950s. A regular in the Railton Road hub with links to many local cultural organizations, Sam King is also co-founder of Notting Hill Carnival. Crafter Fitzroyal Polinsky says, the Sam King image is embroidered, painted, and drawn as a mixed medium on fabric. It was inspired by his pioneering spirit as he dipped his feet in many roles to break barriers in politics for black people. He's depicted as an iconic saintly figure, and I am honored to be part of this project. Dame Tessa Jowell, Baroness of Brixton, 1947 to 2018. Dame Tessa Jowell was a British Labour politician who was the MP for Dulwich and West Norwood from 1997 to 2015. She was Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, a member of both the Blair and Brown cabinets, and Minister for the 2012 Olympics. She was raised to the peerage as Baroness Jowell of Brixton in the London Borough of Lambeth in September 2015. Crofter Rachel Hayward says, I chose to embroider a portrait of Dame Tessa Jowell because she's a hero of mine, and I think was a real hero for the people of Brixton, about which she was passionate. I kept the stitching very simple, using stem, backstitch, and satin stitch.